What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Faraday Future. It's been a while since I've done a Faraday video, so I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what's been really moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. And going forward, on a side note, I'm going to try and do a update video every 2 weeks because it does look like Faraday's putting out more and more PRs. So again, I'll give you a quick summary videos every 2 weeks. But getting right to it, Faraday has been largely going down over the last 5 days, and no fault to Faraday. To be fully fair, the broader market has just sucked. So over the last 5 days, down 29.6%. Still, over the last 1 month, it is up 17.89%. So still doing pretty good as well, getting some pretty good volume. Even looking historically, we got 18 million shares, 19, 29, 63. So a lot of big money still looking at Faraday. And interestingly enough, there was a catalyst that came out recently, and it didn't actually really help the stock price. In fact, that day it went down 11.9%, and that was this right here. So Vanguard on the 29th did put out their 13G, which did show a brand new position. So 5.2 million shares was purchased, of course, during Q2. So pretty good stuff if you ask me. I know a lot of people love to follow what big money has been doing. So yeah, in reality, the fact that both Vanguard and BlackRock made a brand new position, that's really optimistic if you ask me. Of course, I could be wrong, but nonetheless, that actually didn't cause the stock price to go higher whatsoever. So like I said, it is getting a fair amount of volume, but it's been at the mercy of the broader market. So Friday did mark the 6th consecutive red day. So it's been kind of stuck, and it's been, to be fully fair, been putting out some pretty good news. So on the 22nd, which this in among itself caused it to go up like 40 something percent. Actually, I'll give you 43.41%. So Nature's Miracle Holdings Inc. announces up to 100 million distribution deal with Faraday Future. So this is good. And I think in general, Faraday's been putting out a lot of news, building a good foundation. But as I have somewhat said as a warning, they really need to execute. There's absolutely no room for error. If they, for whatever reason, push back their kind of launch, then they are going to need more money, meaning more dilution. And they just did a issuance recently. So I think at the end of the day, like, investors have been holding on and been hit through dilution after dilution. But I think they finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. So if they, for whatever reason, have to push it back, as what they have done already, that's not really advantageous to investors. And of course, like I just said, it will result in a lot of dilution. So I think Faraday has been trying, but in reality, they really need to execute and have no issues whatsoever. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But aside from that, though, they've been putting out a lot of news. And for those of you that are new to the channel, I always like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's very much unfiltered. And a lot of stocks that are roughly around this price point, so roughly around the $2 range, you see a lot of PR blitzes, as kind of how I like to word it. So you put out news almost every day. So you have news, what is it, the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, some of which, mind you, is good. Most of this is just fluff and largely crap. And I've been in the past covering Faraday on and off for about 2 years, most of which I kind of been calling them out. I kind of started out relatively optimistic on them, but I think management just really burnt my trust. And yeah, we've seen a lot of these PR blitzes in the past. And when it comes down to these PR blitzes, historically, they do this because they want to avoid a reverse stock split. I know some people are really going to hate me for that and really say, hey, no, you're just spreading FUD. You can look back at any of my previous videos. I've been 100% on point and accurate about all of the previous reverse stock splits. Even before this August 19th was voted, like, I announced that they will be needing another reverse stock split. Even prior to the March 1st one, I called it before it was going to come out. So yeah, you might say that I'm here to spread FUD, but I've been covering it for a very long time and I kind of know Faraday and what they do. So these PR blitzes, it is a little bit more of a signal that Faraday management is worried that Faraday might become deficient with the NASDAQ. So that's just my opinion. Of course, like I said, I think the pull lower has to do with a lot of the broader market really sucking, tariffs and whatever else, and bad data. But at the end of the day, whether it be specific to Faraday, that's the reason why it's going down, or the broader market, it doesn't matter. If Faraday does get to that $1 mark, you're going to see more and more PR blitzes. So the fact that Faraday's putting out all this news is a little bit concerning if you ask me. So they might be doing another reverse stock split potentially down the line. This is obviously forward thinking. If they do one, it most likely would be kind of near the end of Q4. So it's not anytime soon. So don't get me wrong about that. But nonetheless, Faraday, moral of the story is, does really need to execute. And obviously by them executing, they'll really be able to kind of avoid a reverse stock split. In theory, it'll prompt a lot of institutional transactions and a lot of buying, causing it to go higher. So let me know your viewpoint on that. I know, again, it might be a little bit more of a touchy subject. Some people might disagree with me on that, which is completely fine. I'm not here to be anyone's friends. I just like to just tell the honest truth. And you can, again, go back to any of my other Faraday videos, and I've been 100% on point with everything. So when it comes down to this though, so Faraday's been very active on social media as well, on Twitter. So YT did post this, so the 13th weekly update, and I kind of found this interesting. So it's not just me. I'm sure some of you as well even think that the FX Super 1 is, how to try to put this ugly or nice, it's ugly as hell. Like, that's kind of, I guess, the nice way to how to put it. And on a side note, I even have a Discord, completely free to join, mind you, and even random people were bringing up this, how ugly this is. So he kind of mentions how that there is over 10,000 orders after the launch. I personally think that is complete BS. I do not think that that is realistic whatsoever. And yes, this might be a pretty big success, possibly in a Asian market, but in a American market, I cannot see or fathom who the hell would actually want to buy this. So I think just technically Faraday is having a little bit of a issue with target audiences and what the market does truly want. So yeah, I think that this is a blatant lie by YT. And it's not the first time, right, that we've kind of seen that a lot of the orders have been placed, but no actual, nothing's come to fruition. So let me know your general thoughts. So this is my very quick summary of operationally what's been really happening, and more so on a macro standpoint. Moving over to shorts. So 25.15% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 23.28 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday alone, shorts did increase 392,000 shares. So definitely a lot of activity has been happening from them. Cost to borrow is average is 15.46, and you can kind of see that shorts for the most part have been lingering around from this kind of pink line right here. They increased to 30% recently, kind of beginning of July, but at the end of the day, they are still lingering and they're still waiting. So I think, like I said, for now the 5th time in this video, they need to really execute and get them off their back, potentially bringing it back down to, let's say, that 20 to 15% range. So something to keep in mind. Looking at the options from Friday, there was 240,000 in premiums for calls and 312 in puts. 63% of all the options being done were bearish in nature. And ultimately, of the bulls, you do see a consensus for it to be above 250 going into next week. Bears are kind of anticipating for it to be sub $2. So this is a quick summary of everything that you need to know, kind of macro and whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Faraday, and if you've been buying, give yourself a shout out. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.